Hello, everyone. Welcome to the OpenONU Go call on November 25th. This call is being recorded and will be uploaded on YouTube, so please be mindful of what you speak and share. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen right now.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so here is the agenda. So before we switch to the OpenONU Go adapter towards the end of this month, tech profile removal and multi-cast feature are the most important ones. So we will discuss the status of these sometime during this call. So after the switch happens, we need to communicate what are the missing features compared to the Python version. So we have actually documented them here. So one is the MIB audit, the alarm sync, external attribute value get set, performance monitoring, ONU software upgrade through OMCI, and eager integration. Does anyone have any thoughts on what else is missing? Anyone in this call? I think
yes,
go
I
ahead.
had a discussion with Andrea already.
Okay.
And where we set up a new story. This concerns the WRR configuration. There's still something in the code to configure that, but the code is perhaps not in a productive state, let's say it that way. So there are some things that should be improved in this respect.
Thanks, Mikhail. Okay, so if you think something is missing, you can always go ahead and start documenting on this link, which is available here on this page. And as discussed last week too, Python adapter will be available as a fallback option. So no worries there. 2.6 code freeze will happen on 9th of December, and the tentative release for 2.6 is 18th of December. But we need to make a decision on whether we need to switch to Golang version sometime early next week. So it is imperative that we, decide whether we are able to complete these features in a working state, before we make that decision. So with that in mind, let's get to know the status of these high priority work items. To start with the MCAS support. Ask, I think I pulled your patch and started verification of that, and I realized that it is missing some of the ME configurations on the ONU, and Andrea probably has discussed with you. So do you have some latest status on this today? Ask.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Actually, I didn't miss EMI, multicast EMI. I thought I can patch any other patch about the create other multicast EMI, so that I didn't include current patch, but I told with Andrea today, and he said we can merge two patches. So I will other patch on this current patch after this meeting. I will merge to patch. Actually, I didn't miss it.
Okay, so once you push, me and Andrea are going to pull that and start verification. So because this, it's okay in whatever shape it is, because this functionality is very important to
Yes.
get the complete TT workflow working.
Yes,
And
I know.
yeah. Thanks.
Also, I told with Esin about the IGMP flows, and she said current Volta Go send IGMP flow, but if you want to trigger multicast, give multicast service with IGMP flow, then we need to analyze this IGMP flow. So I will create multicast service with the tech profile is multicast flag.
Yeah, but do we really need the IGMP flow? Isn't VOD flow, upstream flow, good enough?
Yes, but I need to get multicast VLAN from the IGMP flow.
Okay, so we need to handle the IGMP flow to get the multicast VLAN.
Yes, yes.
Do you have a patch for that already?
About IGMP flow, no.
Do you expect when that can be ready?
Because I need to talk I need to talk with Esin about this.
Okay, so sure. Just upload the patch whenever it is ready, even if it's in rough shape. We can help, testing and verification of the
I
patch.
will, yeah, I will send it after this meeting.
Sure. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Oscar. Mikhail, do you have updates on the tech profile removal patch?
Yeah, there is still no according patch, but the code is already prepared, and I have done also some testing in this respect. Looks quite good. At the moment, I'm still busy with merging the latest changes, especially the changes that are connected to the multi-tcont handling that you have inserted lately.
Okay.
If that is done, then I hope that I can provide the patch. Or I hope
Cool.
I can provide the patch tomorrow.
Okay.
I still saw in my test some problems when testing with 64 ONUs. But my impression is that this is not directly connected with the ONU adapter, but maybe with some of the other concerned systems. But I haven't fully verified that, and I think I have to delay that investigation after the patch delivery.
So you say that there is an issue with 64 ONUs?
Yeah. When testing 64 ONUs.
Okay, across the whole OLT. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thanks, Mikhail. But November 26th is still good before early next week. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think
pretty
we
okay.
still have some time to investigate and comment the patch, then see that we can submit that then to Git beginning of, well, at the end or beginning of next week.
Cool, sounds good. Thanks, Mikhail. Yeah, so Andrea is working on integrating Turk Telecom workflow on the hardware. So right now, one of our hardware parts is completely out of shape. It's not really under our control. So we are trying to move, some of that job on the demo part that we locally have at the Menlo office. It's a work in progress. We will share updates as and when they're available. But right now, we only have one job on the GPON OLT at Berlin, which is the 1T-Count 8GEM Deutsche Telekom workflow. We still want to integrate the AT&T workflow with OpenONU Go on the Menlo office part. And hopefully once the Turk Telecom multicast support is available too, we need to integrate that workflow too on one of our hardware. This is a work in progress. We'll share more updates as and when they're available. Core restart failure and OF agent restart. Yeah, unfortunately, we did see this problem, that was mentioned here, but unfortunately this job is now removed. It's not available anymore. And we really couldn't extract much information from the logs that was available. So once we enable this AT&T workflow on the Menlo board, and if we happen to reproduce this issue again, we will start looking at this again. But for now, we don't have much context to debug this further. Okay. Reconcile not.
Girish,
Yeah.
I will say something about the testing. We need to test multicast service with you.
With me?
Yes, we before we made a test session about the multicast service. So we need to make this test session again, or
so you
can handle.
So you want to set up a multicast setup at your site, and you need my help? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have another question about the tech profile removal to Michael. We are remove rule from the extended VLAN tagging ME and delete VLAN filter ME.
Sorry, Oscar, what was the question? You, or what was the statement? You delete something, or was it a question if that is included by the upcoming patch?
I just read on this status from the document, and I wonder about the we are remove a tech profile, and we should delete rule from the extend VLAN tagging and delete VLAN filter ME.
Okay, that perhaps are two different things. One thing is the removal of the data from the tech profiles. This means the removal of the concerned GAM ports and perhaps the T-count. So that this is meant by the tech profile removal procedure. And if you have some activity concerning the extended VLAN tagging operation configuration, this is part of the flow removal. So the current state of the flow removal is that it is already implemented, but of course it's only tested using the, let's say, usual flows. As I understood, there might be specific flows for IGMP multicast. And yeah, of course, then flow removal in this respect is not tested. So maybe there's also something outstanding there. But in general, the removal of the extended VLAN tagging operation configuration is implemented within the flow removal part.
Thank you. Okay, I understand.
Thanks, Mikhail. Thanks, Oscar. Oscar, just a clarification. So how do you, do you want to set up a call with me or Andrea to get this help, or you just need some configurations to set up the multicast, set up at your site? I mean, what sort of help do you need?
I can talk about this with Andrea. If he said this interesting, this or you need to help me. Sorry, sorry, very sorry.
No problem.
I will talk about this, Andrea.
Okay, so no problem. Just anyway, you reach out to me or Andrea, no problem. We can help.
Thank you.
Okay. Reconcile not working in all initial states. When the pod is restarted and etcd data is not found, we have an issue. Mikhail, is that you who is looking into this?
No, it's
or Holger?
No, it's me. As you know, we talked about it last week. It would also would only affect the system if we have a restart of the ONU adapter container. But I now it is on the high prio list, and I could start working on it after I submitted my last patch half an hour ago. So I will address this now. I can work on it now.
Thanks, Holger.
The next issue, the MIP download interrupt issue, I made some as I communicated on Slack. I made some tests regarding this on our hardware pod, and actually that is not such an issue anymore, because the system can handle this. So I made a test. I sent the ONU into the MIP upload cycle. Mm-hmm. And in the middle of the cycle, I switched off the power of the ONU. Mm-hmm. And after some time, I switched it on again, and the system reconciled and recovered from it, and resumed or started a new MIP upload cycle, and then it came up and traffic was possible. So actually this issue has been proven in real test not existent, because there was also some other changes that up in ONU indication request was down. We delete everything and are ready to make a fresh start when we are triggered.
Cool.
So that this shouldn't be an issue for 2.6 anymore.
Yeah. Thanks, Holger.
Mm-hmm.
Set up a procedure race condition. What was this? I have not taken a look. Do you want to share updates about this?
No, that was this issue that it could be that the ONU indication request arrives earlier than the Adobe
I remember now.
Adobe device RPC. And the first solution was that every ONU indication was delayed if the device handler is not present. But I made some chaos monkey tests and heavy load, under heavy load, and there it came to the situation that the ONU indication down request came when the delete the RPC delete device was already processed, and then we had an additional delay in releasing the ONU, and that's why I restricted this race condition handling only to ONU indication requests, which coming with ONU I was upper state up. So that because this issue is actually only relevant when the ONU is set up, not if it is tear down, tore down. So the patch is more safe now and more focused on the real issue.
So patch is generic to handle both cases of delete and setup right now, right?
No, it was a solution before. Now it is only restricted to ONU indication to bring up the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is safer now. Also for scale scenarios.
So just, sorry for a follow-up question. So for the down case, you said there was issue that you saw at scale, and that still needs to be handled. Is that correct?
No, actually not, because when the device is not present and we receive an ONU indication down, then nothing will be done. It will simply,
you're right.
because everything is already deleted and everything is fine. So okay. Actually there should be no issue in teardown procedure anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Olga.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So regarding the logging status, so what I saw was we are using a slightly older version of Voltalib code that doesn't have, the Golang context integrated into the logger, which actually dumps out some more context on the logging, like the operation ID and the task ID. We don't seem to use a later version of the Voltalib code that has this feature or functionality. Does anyone think we need that, or people also think that the current logging in OpenONU Go could use some improvement before 2.6? Does anyone have some thoughts about this?
Do you know by heart what would be the advantage of integrating it, or what is the benefit of it?
Yeah, so I can speak from my experience debugging issues in the read-write core and OpenOLT adapter. So whenever a request, lands on the adapter, or any component for that matter, so there is an operation ID and the task ID. I mean, you could just trace that those identifiers and trace down the request top to bottom. Otherwise, currently in OpenONU Go, I'm not sure how you trace the request. So that's a single identifier that gets dumped as part of the logging. It's very useful to trace down these request responses. Just useful during debugging. That's all.
Okay, see. Currently,
by the way, I think I moved the Voltalib Go to be the latest version. in the OpenONU adapter, because it was required for the multi-stack thing.
And it didn't complain about having this additional context as part of the logger?
It didn't, so it's probably there already. I can quickly check.
I actually did check. We are not inserting this context as part of the logger invocation. For example, if you just see here, there is no additional context that is being inserted as part of the logger invocation.
Yeah, that's right.
If I have some sample log, anyway, so what
no, actually, sorry, the library is still version 3. So yeah, we should probably migrate to version 4 at a certain point.
Yeah, but that's actually a huge work, because now that would mean that you pass the context. Sorry, that means you need to pass the context to all the functions that use this logger, and then pass that context to the logger invocation itself. So that's actually a huge change. So while discussing with Andrea before this call, we were thinking that it's not a critical functionality that is required before the 2.6. I mean, it was good to have, but it's not critical. So once we freeze the code for OpenONU Go, we can start integrating this, and probably that functionality will be available in 2.7. Or if you think that in 2.6, it's very critical to have this debug functionality, we probably might integrate this once the code freezes. We haven't made that decision yet.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I understand it's big work.
Yeah, it's a big work, and we probably don't want to disrupt the OpenONU Go adapter code with such a huge change. Well, apart from that, does anyone have any thoughts on the current state of the logging? You see some improvements that could be required, or what is there right now is good enough for 2.6?
At least I would say I was not missing that kind of no context indication or something like that. So for me, it would be low priority.
So that is basically used to correlate thing that happen in other components with thing that happens in the OpenONU adapter. So if, for example, if you run a test and you see that a flow is not installed, you can just find that request ID and follow it across components. So you know then the entire lifespan of that request.
Yeah, thanks to you. Yeah, so that's where the operation ID that gets dumped as part of the log is useful. You find the same operation ID in read-write code. You track the same ID down in the OpenONU adapter, and you can completely trace the request or these API invocations top to bottom.
Yeah, I understand. So it is advantage. It is an advantage to have, but yeah, as you said, there's a lot of effort for changing the code, and we have still some parallel stories to work on, and if you still insert a different story where everybody has to merge who's currently working on it, then yeah, things are getting a little bit more complicated.
Totally agree, Mikhail. So let me move that to medium priority right now.
Yeah, it will also be good to do this maybe during the code freeze, so there are no features going in, because doing rebases on top of dispatch will be painful for everyone.
Sounds good. I agree. Okay. Unknown ME. So I did see a patch from Chip. I think it got merged, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it got merged.
Actually, Andrea has submitted this change some minutes before the meeting. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm happy about that. I already stated in some discussion before that the code looks fine for me, so no problem that the patch is valid. But I'm not sure how the proceeding is here because it's used as a library for the ONU adapter. And I'm not sure if with the submit activity, this library is automatically active now in our build system. Do you know that, or?
I think we have to do it actively, right? In the Go mod module, right?
Yeah, you would have to reference that. You would have to reference this particular version in your Go mod. Otherwise, are you still seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So so you would have to reference this this version in your Go mod. Otherwise, I don't think it impacts you.
It's not taking the latest version. It's we have to specify it. So then it's fine. Then we have the control over it when to integrate it. Because I think Olga still has to make some considerations if the according workaround code snippets that are on the relevant code positions, if they have to be updated for this version then.
But this would affect several areas, and for example, also lib templating and also the reaction of the Go lib upon proprietary MEs. And currently we don't know what the system will do. But the question is it vital to have it in 2.6 or not? The support of this new library.
I would say, I mean, if it's not a critical functionality and we are still okay without that in 2.6, I mean, I would say just push it after 2.6.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my opinion. You know, because we have, you know, for us, you know, tech profile removal and multicast are the most critical, you know, in order to get our tests up and running fine. You know, these are some nice to have features, and we are still okay to have them after 2.6.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we'll have one more call before the, you know, before we early next week, and we can make a final decision because our code freeze is on 9th. And if you're in a very good shape with, you know, multicast and tech profile removal completed, and that gives us, you know, some inputs to make the decision to migrate to OpenONU Go, and we have still 1 week before we freeze the code. And if there are some nice to have features that we can squeeze it in before November 9th, we can have them, you know, else, you know, just push them after 2.6. Yeah. Any more comments on that? Okay. MIB audit. Yeah, so this one is a prerequisite. You know, what's this? Holger or Mikkel, do you have any updates or any comments on this one?
It's an open story, so still to be done. And yeah, I think this is nothing that that will be relevant to 2.6. I think it's also on the list of open issues that you showed in the beginning. So yeah.
Okay.
Something that is maybe correlated with that is something that we also have discussed lately, this lip sync check, the lip sync variable check. So also that is connected, I think, to this task here.
Yeah, you're right.
Might be a little bit to do with it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, there are a host of other, low priority items here. Probably not very important for this call, but do you guys have, I mean, I don't want to, start analyzing this or, getting reports for each of these items, but in general, do you guys have any comments or on any of these items here? I'm sure we'll track them in detail after 2.6, but in general, do you have any comments on these items?
No, not now.
Okay, then sounds good. Thanks. Any final comments before I stop this call? Cool. Then I'll give you 20 minutes back. Have a good rest of the day. Talk to you next week. And happy Thanksgiving for those in US.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.